Now, if you're seeking a little bit more distance and forgiveness from your iron shots in 2023 and you're due an upgrade, I think these are two irons that you're really going to be gravitating towards this year. It's the new Ping G430 and the Callaway Paradigm. But the big question is, what are the differences between the two in terms of how they look, how they feel, and how they perform, and how do they compare against my current iron, which is the TaylorMade P770. That's what we're going to try and find out in this video. We have the head-to-head test, hitting some shots here on the Trackman launch monitor indoors at King's Golf Studio to see exactly what the subtle differences in the performance are and help you understand which one might be right for your game. So the only real similarities between both of these two irons is the fact they are irons, and also they have the same 7-iron loft of 29 degrees. So you would think they might perform similar, but actually the visual package of these irons and how they've been designed is very different. So starting with the Ping G430, this is more of a traditional cavity back style iron, and as a result, it's a little bit larger down behind the ball. It's got a bigger footprint, a little bit more offset there, so if your miss is slightly more to the right, you might benefit from that. And it just inspires a bit more confidence. If you're someone who wants to see a bit more meat behind the ball, you're going to get that with the Ping G430. And conversely, the Callaway Paradigm, you can see, is actually a compact distance iron. It's actually a hollow construction, so as a result, it's a little bit more compact down behind the ball, definitely less offset, and the finishes are very different too. Callaway Paradigm has this kind of mirror chrome finish, which is very reflective. The Ping G430 has a more of a duller satin finish, kind of a chrome finish, so it's lighter in color and less reflective. I prefer the finish on the Ping, but I definitely prefer the profile and the size of the Callaway Paradigm. I think the dimensions are spot on here. Much shorter blade length while still looking inviting to hit because there's a relatively thick top line on it. So it does tick a lot of boxes visually. I'm not a big fan of the mirror chrome finish, but I think I'd soon get past that. So two very different visual packages. As I said, the Callaway Paradigm is a hollow construction, so there's some more tech built into the head, whereas on the Ping, it's kind of more visible. You can see this new cavity badge here to help the face flex a little bit more. So very different visual options. If I was to pick my favorite, it probably would be the Callaway Paradigm. As a slightly better player, prefer that more compact look. But the big question is, how did the differences in the construction translate into variances in the feel? So hopefully you can detect the differences here as I hit a couple of shots, or one shot with each. This is the Ping G430. As you see, I think it's quite a short sound, but it's quite a high pitched sound as well. Quite like it, it feels really solid. But conversely, this is the Callaway Paradigm, and hopefully you can pick this up. So I think the Callaway Paradigm a little bit louder, a little bit higher pitched. So I think actually the Ping G430 has a slightly better sound and feel to it. It's a little bit duller and just a little bit more kind of solid, whereas this one, the Callaway Paradigm, just feels a little bit louder, a bit more game improvement in the way it feels and sounds through the ball. But the big question is, how do they perform? And that's what we're going to find out here. We're going to hit 5 shots with each. Down the range, we're going to analyse the front to back dispersion, left to right dispersion, and of course the overall distance to see which one is longest, but more importantly, which one is most consistent. So let's take a deep dive into the data then with the shots that we hit, starting with my own iron, which is the TaylorMade P770. The new model has a 7-iron loft of 33 degrees, so much more traditional than the other 2 irons we're talking about in this video, 4 degrees weaker. And as you can see on the data, with an average carry of 160 yards, you are giving up over 10 yards, close to 12, 13 yards, by opting for a traditionally lofted iron like that versus more of a game improvement style iron with stronger lofts. Front to back dispersion was pretty good, and the club speed is actually pretty good as well. But as we move into the 2 irons we're really talking about in this video, the Ping G430 and the Paradigm, there were some key takeaways. So starting with the Paradigm, actually my club head speed did drop down versus the P770 and the Ping G430. Interestingly, the sample I've got with the Ping G430 is a little bit longer in length, but I was gripping down, I don't know if you noticed when I was hitting, was gripping down slightly to make it more of a fairer test. but club speed was a lot higher with the Ping G430. As a result, ball speed was a little bit higher, but the kind of two main takeaways I would have from the data that we've got here is that you can clearly see the Ping G430 is flying a little bit higher, and the Callaway Paradigm is spinning a lot less, around about 400 RPM lower spin. So that has resulted into a little bit more distance from the Paradigm versus the Ping G430, but the Ping G430 is getting that height, which is going to give you a little bit more stopping power into greens. But you look at the shot pattern here, I would take away that the Ping G430 looks to be a little bit more consistent in terms of front to back dispersion. So you can see I hit one bad shot or one bad strike with both of the irons. The Ping G430 shot was a little bit longer and a little bit straighter versus the bad shot with the Paradigm. So maybe you're getting a bit more forgiveness from the G430 versus the Paradigm, but the Paradigm, even from that smaller head, those good shots I hit did seem to go a little bit longer and a little bit straighter. You see the left to right dispersion was actually a little bit tighter with Paradigm versus Ping G430. So my takeaway from that is you're getting rewarded with good strikes with the Paradigm in terms of accuracy and consistent distances, but you're getting a bit more margin for error on your bad shots with the Ping G430. You would expect that. It has a slightly larger head to it and just feels a little bit more stable when you don't quite catch out the middle. You're gonna get a bit more performance out of the Ping G430. So two kind of different performance packages from both the irons. I think it really depends on what you're really looking for from your irons, whether it's forgiveness or a bit more reward and consistency for slightly better contacts. So hopefully this test has given you an idea about the subtle differences in performance between the two irons, the Ping G430 and the Callaway Paradigm. I think when it comes to choosing between the two, I think a lot of it will come down to looks. There's no question the Ping G430 has a larger footprint, inspires a bit more confidence. The Callaway Paradigm a little bit more compact. So if you're maybe a slightly lower handicap bracket, but you still want distance, you're going to get the visual package that you want from the Callaway Paradigm. I do think it looks a little bit better, more refined on the shelf versus the Ping G430. That's just my opinion. I think feel-wise they're very similar, distance-wise they're very similar. The spin profiles are slightly different. Callaway Paradigm has a slightly lower flight and slightly lower spin. So that might suit you if you're a high spin player or you tend to hit quite a high ball. You're probably going to get a bit more out of the Paradigm. Whereas if you struggle to launch the ball and you're looking for a bit more stability off center, the Ping G430 will give you that higher ball flight and a little bit more forgiveness when you don't make a good swing. So those are the main takeaways I would have from comparing these two irons. Both really good, excellent options in that distance iron category. I think, test them both head to head, go for a custom fit, see which numbers work better for you. But I think either way, you'll be pleasantly surprised by the performance on offer. If I had to pick one for me, I probably would pick the Callaway Paradigm just because visually I think it suits my eye a little bit better, and as a high speed player I think I can manage the lower spin that I'm getting with this club a little bit better, but that's just my personal opinion. That's all from me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do click the like button if you like the video and subscribe to the Golf Monthly YouTube channel. But from King's Golf Studio, I'll see you next time.